Hey, welcome back to the channel, OswithCon60. Welcome to episode 3 of my Cobra Mustang, and these are what the spark plugs that I took out of my '01 Cobra Mustang look like, and they didn't look terrible. I've definitely seen worse. I did put Bosch spark plugs in there. I wish I would have done Motorcraft. Motorcraft is really the Ford brand that they recommend, and I've kind of learned, and you'll see throughout the series, why it makes a difference, some of the parts that you put in. Because I replaced some parts with not Motorcraft parts in later videos, and it affected how the car ran. So the first thing after in the last video kind of showed everything wrong. Now we're going to start going through kind of the diagnosis process of what I'm doing on the car. In this video, I actually get pulled over twice in one day, so that'll be fun. But what I'm basically doing now is I'm just starting up the car after changing the spark plugs, and you'll kind of notice the car kind of ran pretty rough. So my whole thought process around this car is cheap, easy. What is the cheapest part that I can eliminate before I just start throwing parts at it? And so that was kind of my thought process, you know, changing spark plugs, air filter, stuff like that. It's just kind of basic maintenance that you just want to do anyways. And so that was kind of my thought process, because when I did my 3000 GT VR4, my Mitsubishi, if you haven't seen those videos, go check them out. I just got way into the weeds way too fast, painting mechanics, all of this stuff. And so what I'm hoping to do is to try and tackle as much of this as I can, and the cheapest I possibly can. And so here essentially started up the car, kind of died, started up again, and we're going to give it a run down the road here in just a second. But the car definitely, after changing the spark plugs, didn't run any better. If not, I thought initially, I'm like, this didn't run as good as maybe as it did before. But definitely spark plugs aren't the problem. And you know, I did a couple easy modifications, changes in this video. You know, I checked coil packs to make sure that they were good. Obviously changed out all of the spark plugs. Definitely have a smoking issue. We're going to tackle that later and what that is, but it definitely gets solved in a future video. And so what's funny, guys, we're going to go for a ride here in the car, but I actually got pulled over on this road earlier in the day in my Volkswagen Golf R, and I handed the cop my credit card instead of my driver's license. I was going like 15, 16 over the speed limit, and you know, and it's so funny because he's like, "Hey, I don't accept payment," and he let me off with a warning, and I thought I was screwed. He gave me a written warning. So this car is not registered or anything. I'm driving it right now, and it drives awesome. And you're going to notice this is a pattern that it starts to do: is when you're first taking off in it, it drives great, and then as the car gets warm, it runs really rough. But I was running up the road, I was probably doing 80 or 90. I got pulled over by a cop. And this cop, I wish I would have taken his name down. The coolest guy absolutely ever. I will pause here towards the end so you can kind of hear what he says. But I essentially cover everything that happened to me that day. I told him I got pulled over again. I told him this car, I bought it. You know, I told him that, hey, you know, the previous owner wasn't honest with me. I just was working on my car. I lived down the street. I bought it from Ohio. It's not registered or anything. And I just wanted to run down the road just to see if it could run okay, you know. And he pulled me over. I was going so fast over the speed limit, and you're gonna see at the end though. But I was just honest with them, and I just said, hey, you know, I just wanted to see if the car could run okay after making some changes to it, and he luckily let me off with a ticket. So I'll go ahead and skip ahead to that part right now, but listen to what he says here at the end.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Running up the hill, but running up the hill slower. Fair enough?
I'm just going to drive back to the house.
Okay, sounds good. Drive safe.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you. So after that cop let me go, the car finally threw a check engine light. We'll get to that in a minute, but on the way back it died. So I decided, hey, I'm going to clean everything out really good. I'm going to go through everything. So I cleaned out kind of the mass airflow sensor housing with some mass airflow sensor spray. By the way, can I just say the air filter design on these Ford Mustangs, I hate putting this thing on. It is just a ring of death. It's not a good design. Just not a good design. So I bought a whole bunch of stuff. I bought a new air filter, you know, to put in the car. I really tried my best to just kind of try to clean everything out, and I started kind of going over everything. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going through the air filter. I'm going through spark plugs, and I'm going to do a couple other tests in this video to try to figure out kind of what the issue is on the car. So my next thought, hey, maybe something's dirty in the throttle body. Maybe the throttle body is getting stuck. So I decided to clean out the throttle body. The throttle body did look, a little bit rusted, a little kind of crusty. Not rusted, that's not the right word, but it wasn't really gummed up or anything, but still I wanted to be able to try to clean the throttle body. I figured, hey, maybe the throttle's getting stuck. Maybe that's kind of why it's doing that hesitation as I go down the road. And that was kind of my thought process behind this one. But doing this didn't fix the problem, but it was just another thing that I essentially could eliminate. So here, just kind of starting to just check some miscellaneous things, cleaning things out. I did take off the throttle position sensor. I did take off the idle air control valve just to kind of check it out, but was just kind of doing just simple maintenance on the car, what I could do. I was checking spark plugs, making sure everything was in correctly. I was cleaning out just anything that I possibly could. So I was just going over everything again, like, hey, maybe I mistimed it. Here you can see the air filter housing, and it was pretty dirty. It did have a K&N filter on it, which those are oil based, so it is going to collect a lot more stuff. But definitely didn't want to run this back into the car. I don't know how long it's been out there. I don't know if it had been oiled or really properly maintained, but had bugs, had a whole bunch of stuff in it. So I just decided essentially, hey, I'm not going to worry about it. I cleaned out, like I said, the mass airflow sensor, the housing. The mass airflow sensor, you could tell it was not stock to the car. I can't remember the brand of it. I think it starts with a D. I want to say Delphi, something like that. The idle air control valve looked new, and just this air filter. So I was just starting, okay, hey, maybe I'll just start with some basic stuff, see if I can kind of get this to improve how the car runs. And overall, it didn't help, but just easy stuff, easy maintenance, doesn't rack up the bill really high on repairs and what I'm doing. And so just continued to kind of go over everything again, and I actually drove the car down the road after this. After I put everything together, I'm like, okay, I cleaned out the mass airflow sensor. Maybe that was causing some issues. I have a new air filter on there. I checked all my spark plugs, checked the gaps, made sure everything was good there, make sure I had everything tightened down, that everything was good. And here's what the car did running down the road. So you guys can see, same problem. And what you're gonna see here the rest of this video is I actually try a couple things to try to make the car just perform better. I changed out the fuel filter. It honestly wasn't dirty. Very easy mod to do. Replaced the Motorcraft. The fuel filter didn't make the car run better. Next up, do this at your own risk, guys, but I wanted to do a vacuum test, so essentially wanted to check for any vacuum leaks on the car. That's very simple, easy to do. I did it with starting fluid. This can be very flammable. I do not suggest doing this. It can work, but it's also a good way to start your house and your car and everything on fire, so don't follow my example. But here, the rest of this video is me doing a leak down, just kind of vacuum test, just seeing if I have any major leaks on the car. Stick around, guys. We got a lot more diagnosing to do on the car, but I just wanted to start off with some cheap and easy stuff. But let me know what you guys hear in this video, if you feel like there's a vacuum leak or not. I'll give you a little hint that I don't think it's a vacuum leak. Tell me what you guys think. But please like, comment, subscribe. I have a lot more content coming, guys. The car takes me a hot minute here to get running, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed kind of some of these videos. Please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if the rest of the video, if you guys hear any vacuum leaks that maybe I'm missing.